um, work on becoming a little more wiser and work on conserving your energy a little more. Some will care for you today, but don't care nothing about you tomorrow. They may care for you for an hour because it's convenient for them to do so. And it may be pleasing to them. But when there is some discomfort, they don't care. That's understanding when it comes to the complexity of human nature. Human nature is very complex. That what you think you know, you really don't know. Then you realize that there's more to be learned. Yes, there's more to be learned. Let's try to explore something, if I can, when it comes to coming out of a situation that I had experienced or have been experiencing on a continuing basis when it comes to health concerns. Yeah, age is something else. Recently, I had to go to the ER. If it wasn't for a good friend of mine who said that he really showed some concern, he said that, man, if you don't mind, I would like for you to hang around a little longer. So I went on and went in, and glad that I did go in and try to get to the root cause of this health concern. Needless to say, let us proceed on with that. Thanks for my ancestors, and thanks for those who were aware and those who really care, such as I was unable to move. Another good brother who I know, he was aware, and he brought some food. He asked, did I need anything? And another, the same brother who said the previous statement, got me some medication that I need. And then I got some a few calls of concern. Thanks to my ancestors, and some will call a higher power, that I'm coming around with at a rapid pace. Yes, at a rapid pace. Yes. Well, let's look at this here. Restoring human dignity through understanding synthesis and social reconstruction. I often say that society is under social reconstruction, where our feelings are becoming desensitized, our thoughts demoralized, our attitude dehumanized, and our language devitalized, and our activity is destabilized, meaning that we're dealing with a spirit of apathy. This proposition, if I may use that language, the purpose is the advancement of a comprehensive social educational developmental framework designed to restore dignity, strengthen identity, and address the multi-generational impact of deculturalization. This initiative responds to the psychological, emotional, mental, social, political, educational, financial, and religious fragmentation produced by historical contemporary systems of denomination, miseducation, and structural inequality, which is built within the system itself. This proposition centers on an essential principle. The best of us do not practice despising each other. We look, we learn, we listen, and recognizing what we do not yet know. When gaining understanding, and with understanding comes success and collective restoration. Let's look at this here now. The background and the rationale. Deculturalization as the root of injury. Deculturalization forces assimilation, identity removal, and dismantling of communal bonds, has undermined social cohesion and individual self-worth across generations. Its influences are evident in broken family structures, miseducation, intellectual distortion, religious manipulation, political suppression, social alienation, economic displacement, and emotional desensitization. These factors have produced a climate which despising one another has become a learned behavior. The nature of despising in a deculturalized society: to despise someone is to hold them in contempt, viewing them as inferior or unworthy. Unlike general hate, despising attacks identity itself. Core characteristic: extreme contempt and superiority, internalized social hierarchy, disgust and repulsion, the residue of historical dehumanization, yes, loss of respect, the stripping of human dignity, looking down on, reproducing oppressive power structures. Still struggling. Health-wise. Okay. Despising is not merely an emotion. It is a social historical pattern passed down through miseducation and disorientation. Grievance as the engine of disdain. Despising grows from grievances, which are rooted in grieving a loss, cultural, emotional, spiritual, relational, or personal. One thing I realized about grief: it helps us visualize change. Yes. This grief distorts perception, generating fear of change, resentment, confusion, resistance, self-defense, fragmentation. Resistance to change now is not defiance. Resistance in human effort. Resistance is human effort misdirected. Therefore, you need guidance that must be synthesized into understanding. Out of understanding comes consciousness. It does not confuse knowledge for understanding. Tolerance, confidence, and respect. Unprocessed grievance becomes an obstacle to learning, growth, and continual or communal advancement. 5 learning disabilities. Common Humanity, Inc. identifies 5 primary social learning disabilities that arise from grievances and deculturalization: indifference/differences, loss of empathy and connection, alienation, separation from self, purpose, and community, misalignment between identity and behavior, that would be discrepancy, inadequacy, internalized deficiency, and insecurity. I say when there is emotional incompatibility, when there is environmental incompatibility, there you have an emotional deficiency. 5, grievance, unresolved pain that fuels contempt in division. Grievance is the central disability that intensifies all others. Yes. This proposed transformational framework, the 4 developmental periods, transformation begins by rejecting contempt and embracing a tirade or triad of awareness. Look, listen, learn. A triad of awareness. The 3, the look, the listen, the learn. The process unfolds in the following structured periods. 1, need meeting period. Evaluation of internal deficits. Recognition of areas requiring development. 2, issue resolving period. Reflecting observation, listening, and clarification of problems. 3, problem solving period. Application of strategy, critical thinking, and guided practice. Question and answer period. Dialogue centered in integrating of knowledge, reasoning, confidence, and comprehension. These periods create a continuum that restores dignity, competence, and reconnect individuals to their innate human worth. Still struggling health-wise. The proposition purpose. This document proposes a new philosophical foundation for human development, a correction to historical miseducation, a structured pathway for emotional, social, and moral reconstruction, a curriculum grounded in clarity, understanding, and communal restoration, a model for building mature, solution-centered communities, a strategy to overcome social learning disability and reclaim humanity. Common Humanity Mission aims to establish an applied learning environment where individuals, families, institutions can rediscover the value of self-worth and reconnect with the mature community within oneself. Trial and error leads to personal discovery. The institutional creed, once again, the best of us do not practice despising one another. We look, we listen, we learn. And recognizing what we do not yet know, we gain an understanding. And with understanding comes success, restoration, and a shared humanity. What I just presented was the proposition document, if I may use that language. Common Humanity Mission, Inc. Restoring human dignity through understanding, the synthesis, and social reconstruction. Until next time.